in the world. So the Hungarians are obviously appreciating the opinion. No, but joking aside, yeah, we are not good at marketing ourselves. You know, the PR is not really the strong suit of Hungarians in general. It's pretty much not a typical sales culture. So obviously, US is very good at that. I really like the idea of a European dream. Yeah, why not? You know, there are some really refined technologies that Europeans are so good at. It should be somehow highlighted in the product development or in the style, in the brand of that particular product. I wonder why it hasn't happened yet. Probably because it doesn't necessarily make much sense, or maybe it's too risky. I would definitely, I mean, I really love when a Hungarian startup comes to us and they show to us a website which is an American site. That it doesn't look, or a global site, it doesn't look like any culture. It doesn't sort of exude the cultural signals of any particular nationality. So I love that, and to be honest, in Hungary I would be very happy if we were good at copying particular ideas. Because at this point we are very good at innovation, which sometimes doesn't really turn into products, doesn't necessarily have economical value, but you know, it's a good solution to a theoretical problem. So I put much more emphasis on developing good managerial skills, building strong management teams who can actually carry out maybe a European dream.
Okay. Peter, when you talk with your students at the Entrepreneurs Foundation, do you tell them about your experience in the US as well? Do you inspire them with thoughts from the US, or do you tell the success stories we have in Europe?
One of the pitfalls when we are discussing entrepreneurship and venture capital, that we stick to the old paradigms, nations, in countries, and all this nonsense. We are talking about individuals, people with desires, the joy, having fun building something. And we all are composites of our experience and language skills. And the entrepreneurial teams are typically successful teams today are a combination of people with very different backgrounds who have complementary skills. Just take the example of my very dear friend Adam this morning. He is an artist, and he claims that he's an artist. And he has been toying with the zooming technology for 8 years until he bumped into his friend who was an IT wizard, Peter. And then they concluded they will create a business out of it. And then the next morning they got sober and got rid of the headache. They were honest enough to look at each other and say, well, we haven't got a fucking idea how to build a business. So they reached out and invited somebody from Sweden of Hungarian descent who was born in Sweden but spoke the language. They have won him over to join them as a CEO, became a co-founder, and then they said, well, please step on the next plane, fly to San Francisco, and Prezi, to the outside world, will appear as a Silicon Valley company. All of the people are sitting in a wonderful office now in Budapest, but the world is applauding. So this is the story. Coming back to your question, sorry. I call the people who come to my classes not students but participants. They are aged between 19 and 52. Typically the 52 years old are the most engaged. We had a fantastic story this spring, and a professor. And what they learn is, you can only learn from role models, and all these Adams, and 10 of them in the course come and open their hidings and speak about the stupidities they did. And they also encourage the guys to think positive, enjoy what you are doing, and we are also quite instrumental in explaining how this world of seed and angel and venture capital finance works, because this is the biggest problem, by the way, in Central Europe. Nobody has got a clue. And as Ingrid mentioned, we have now Jeremy funds sitting on billions of money and not being able to spend it, firstly because they behave like employees and don't want to take risky decisions, and haven't done a job in explaining that they have venture capital money available.
Okay, And I also wanted to add that actually we need to take more risks, like Peter says. And with my former company, I did a lot of trend traveling. So we actually took European managers to Japan and to the US, and they wanted to learn everything about new mobile technologies and everything. And the US actually, they don't care about things we do so much in Europe. So they want to do their own mistakes, and they're more arrogant. So in a way to actually find out their way on their own. And we are kind of more, I feel like Europeans like to learn and to study and be more careful. And do we need to take more risk?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, I think, well, there are no simple answers, but if there was a simple answer, I think it would be based on, you know, America is actually built on individualism, entrepreneurship, free market, and taking risk. And what's maybe more important than that ties into it is that in America, people are not afraid to take risks, because if they fail, it's not a tragedy. Failure actually is viewed more like an opportunity and like a learning curve. And you know, someone who failed is not viewed as a loser, but as someone who gained very much experience and should not fade away.